Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and his trusty sidekick.
Hello.
We have a box of Conquest Games Norman Knights, which is the new unboxing video we're going to be doing. Interesting thing to add, this is actually the second time we're making this video because the last video got all corrupted for some reason. Well, the sound didn't record.
How's most videos we do?
Yeah, but I had been adjusting the sound thing, so I think I'd turned the sound off. So I turned the recording sound off, so I actually just filmed doing this for 20 minutes. So that was pointless. However, this is the second video. So now we actually know what we're doing this time, so it should go quite smoothly. I could talk about the box art, but it's rubbish. So we'll just move straight on to the actual box. In here we get the usual bases for the cavalry, which are cool and will come in great for my 15mm stuff. Then we get the actual sprues. Now, you get 15 cavalry in a box, and you get one dead Norman. This is the dead Norman here.
Put some white paper behind it.
Oh, white paper, good point. Yeah. If I put some white paper behind them, you can see them better.
There we go.
There we go. Now here you get a dead Norman, which is the best sort of Norman, really. That's a nice Norman who's been thrown off his horse. Oh no, he's on his horse, sorry, and he's fallen over and he's completely dead. Probably been hit by an axe. Terrible way to die. But he was a Norman, so he had it coming. You don't like Normans, do you?
No.
No. Why don't you like Normans?
Because they kill Saxons.
Yeah, nasty Normans. Actually, Normans kill everybody.
And they kill the King of England.
Yeah, they were equal opportunity haters, really. You get 15 figures in the box. 3 of them are, I'm trying to show you here, 3 of them are these ones, which are basically wearing cloth. So you can actually have that as a normal guy in chainmail, but just paint livery on the jacket, on the cloth, or you could have it as a light cavalryman. So that would give you 3 light cavalry, and then all the rest would be armoured in mail. It's up to you what you want to do with them, but it does give you that option. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing with them entirely. Well, actually, no, I am sure. We've got 3 of these boxes. 2 of them I'm making them for someone, and the 3rd one's for us. And what I'm planning on doing is turning those into Russians. So that's going to look quite cool. Good idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the moment you can't get Russian cavalry in plastic, so I'm going to be doing that. You can get Russian cavalry in lead, but it is quite expensive and they're all in the same pose, so yeah.
Yeah, it's lead, so...
It is lead, yeah.
It's cheaper to keep in the same pose.
Sprue wise, you get 3 identical sprues with 3 horses and 4 men on them. You get a spare sprue with 3 horses on it, and then you get the sort of command sprue with a banner and 3 horses and 3 men. So it works out at 15 mounted cavalry with the option for 3 of them to be light cavalry. So it's quite a useful option, and you don't get many cavalry units in any rule system that are made for 15 men, so it does give you those spare figures. You could also say have 12 men and 1 as a command unit. There's all sorts you could do with it. We're doing Hail Caesar, but we're doing with these figures we're basing individually. Normally in Hail Caesar we base 4 to a base on a 40mm square base. Check our Roman stuff. But for this game we want to use retinue and Hail Caesar, which means we want to do skirmish games skirmish games where you have a handful, like 10 figures each, and big games where you can have full sort of complements of men, and so we're basing them individually, so that makes 6 cavalry, 1 unit. Whereas in Hail Caesar they're usually larger, but you know. That's all besides the point. Yeah, so figure-wise, I've already put a few together, not for me actually, for someone else, and they actually got together quite well. I'm not a huge fan of the way the arms work, but they do fit nicely with the actual arms you get in the box. But if you're wanting to use different arms on them, you'll have to do quite a bit of cutting to get them to fit. I did add a mace to one guy, and it was quite hard getting the mace to look right, so yeah, really they're designed just to be Norman knights. You can use them for most, well actually from the First Crusade right through to, actually you start off prior to 1066, can't you? So you can actually use them for quite a long period of time. Early Middle Ages all the way through. Guys in chainmail is pretty simple. Shield wise, we have 3 types of round shield and three oval teardrop shape shields, kite shields, which is good because cavalry have kite shields. The reason for that, Norman cavalry had kite shields because the bottom of the shield would protect your leg, because the Normans wouldn't get actually up to you to fight, they would throw javelins. And then when it came to combat, they would ride up and use the lance to stab. They couldn't charge with a lance because the saddle was the wrong side. The saddle would just fall off. If you hit someone with a lance, you just slide off the horse, and you look really stupid. But they use the lance to stab with. So you ride forward with your shield down, protecting your leg and your upper body, and you stab down with the sword, with a lance. Now that worked great when you were fighting the Danes or Franks. That worked absolutely great. Didn't really work that well in England because horses weren't worth anything in England. Horses were food.
Yeah.
So if you're fighting in a country where you will be executed for killing a horse, then it's safe to ride around on an unarmoured horse. But if you're fighting in a country where horse is lunch, your horse is going to get its head split open with an axe. And so it doesn't matter if you're an armoured knight on a horse because your horse is unarmoured. So didn't work at the Battle of Hastings, which is why the Norman cavalry failed at Hastings. They charged how many times?
5, 1, 2, 6.
I think it was about 9.
9?
Yeah. And completely failed to do anything to the Saxons, who just laughed at them. And any horses that came close and tried to stab, the Saxon ran out of the line and cut the horse's head off with an axe. So you see that in the Bears Tapestry. Not that I trust the Bear Tapestry as a historical representation, but you still see it.
Yeah. It says, this is historically accurate. Hal Gosson died like this, he also died like this, and he also died like this.
Oh yeah, Harold died 3 times. It took three different ways of killing him. Yeah, actually,
one of them had been trampled, one of them had his head cut off, the other one was getting an arrow.
Yeah, I find the arrow thing dodgy, especially as that's how Harold had riders.
I think Cavalry going down.
Then again, if you're fully armoured head to toe, the only place you can hurt someone is by getting him in the eye with an arrow. Housecarls fully body armour.
Who was that precise?
Bad luck, you just fire as many arrows as possible. But given that the Normans didn't have bowmen, that does make it more dodgy, because they had mercenary crossbows. They didn't have actual bowmen. And the mercenary crossbows would usually work in conjunction with spears. So the crossbowman would fire, and then the spearman would go through them and jab at the enemy. Which would either mean he died in a shield wall fighting in combat, or while under fire, which wouldn't really make sense, but who cares? Anyway, it's not important. As I mentioned, the kite shields are great. You do get a lot of Norman knights with kite shields on foot. I blame the Bear Tapestry for that, because it shows all the Norman knights and Saxon knights using kite shields on foot. You don't use a kite shield on foot. I mean, you can use a kite shield on foot, but you don't stand with it like that. It's not how you use it in combat. You use it sideways, not lengthways. The teardrop doesn't point down, it points to the side. And the braces on the shield are along its length rather than across. So you can't actually hold the shield upwards. You'd be aiming your fist in the air if you were holding the shield upwards.
Yeah.
That's it. Nice design shield though. Although I prefer something a little bit more. I think a round shield would probably be better for the type of combat they were doing.
Vikings.
Yeah, the reason the Vikings never really changed their shield is because it was a perfect shield design. For light troops.
What was the Saxon shield?
Same, round. They used a rounded shield as well. A round oak shield with cloth over it. Animal skin and cloth, which they painted. Where is it? Yeah, the round shield's useful for when you're moving through things like woodland and off road. That's really when you need a round shield or an oval shield. That's why the Romans had oval shields. You know, you notice Roman soldiers have the oblong shield and the oval shield. The difference is the oblong shield is for regular soldiers, legionaries who marched on roads and they didn't go cross country. If you try and go cross country over bushes and stuff with a square shield, you're going to look stupid because your shield's going to get caught and stuck. That's why auxiliary troops have the oval shield, because they do go cross country. And what's the hexagonal shield for? The Roman hexagonal shaped shield.
I don't know. What was it for?
The hexagonal shield. You know, the one that's got.
I mean, a rectangle shield.
No, it's rectangle. But it's
hexagonal.
It's hexagon.
It's not a hexagon.
It is a hexagon. It's got 6 sides.
It has 4 sides.
It's 6 sides. You
A
know
Roman shield.
Do you know what a hexagon is?
Yes, a hexagon is 6.
A hexagonal shield. If you had a pen, I'd draw one for you.
I know. Yeah, but you talk about Roman shield.
Yes.
That's a rectangle shield.
Yes, they have a rectangle shield. They had an oval shield, and they also had a hexagonal shield.
Never heard that one before. What is it?
Well, we've got the figures. We've played with them. No, we've played with the figures.
What's this round?
No, we've played with the figures. We actually own the figures.
What is it then?
You don't remember anything we do?
No.
The Marines.
C.
Do you remember the shield now?
No, I didn't. I did it. That's
I give up.
That's hexagonal.
I give up. That's hexagonal. Yes, it's a hexagonal shield.
Doesn't look at it.
It is. It's got
It's
6
like a
sides.
five-sided to me.
It's got 6 sides.
It's like a pentagon.
Oh, shut up. I don't even know why I do the videos with you anymore. You don't remember anything. You just don't notice anything. Yeah, it was for riverine warfare. That's what that shield was designed to do, because you could stand it against the surface and it wouldn't roll over. But it was also curved, so it would prevent you from catching it on rigging and stuff.
Sails.
Yeah, so it was a naval shield designed for the navy. You know, we just wasted 20 minutes of our time there. Right, so I hope that made sense. No, it probably didn't. Who cares?
Whoever watches this video knows that's not going to make any sense.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't get that. You know the shields I'm talking about, surely. You've played with them.
I never used Marines.
But you've seen them. We've got them. We own them. We've fought battles with them. We've fought a campaign with them.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, you've got a brain. You've got a brain like a sieve.
It was also last year.
You don't have the ability to retain information, do you?
No.
No. Okay.
It's a sieve, but with massive holes in it, so everything falls through.
Yeah. Okay. Armour-wise, the guys are wearing the right armour for the period, but you could actually get away with using quite a few of the figures for lots of different periods, because chainmail's pretty generic. And the guy who's in light armour, that chap there is in light armour, you could get away with using him for anything from the Greeks all the way up to sort of late medieval. So it's just really up to you what you do with it. The horses come in a few different poses, not a huge amount, but you can slightly interchange the legs, so you could get away with doing different things with them. Depends how much you like to do with your figures. So I would recommend the box if you're doing Normans. I'm going to use it for Russians, so I'll do a video on that when I've done it. And I'll do a video when I've got some Normans done up as well, so that should be good. Shield designs. What do you know about Norman shield designs?
Well, they have the kite shield, it's put and on cavalry, they're supposed to have it upside down, so they can fill the spear javelins and spears.
Yes.
so it didn't catch. I don't really think they used any of his shield. I don't really know any of his shields.
I thought you were doing the whole Hastings thing.
Yes, we didn't learn about shields.
Oh, alright. What about the Norman helmet?
Didn't learn about that either.
It's got a nose guard.
Like a Spartan.
No, the Spartan helmet actually covered their face. It was a complete face helmet with sort of holes for eyes. This is the helmet has a sort of nose guard down the front, which was a Viking invention.
What's it to stop?
It's to stop a blade going across your face. Cutting across your face. Because you're fully armoured and you have to have a hole for your face to look out of. And you need something to break that up to stop things hitting you.
Why don't they just have a full metal mask?
Because it was expensive and you see less, and the guy who can't see very well is probably going to get killed because he can't see the enemy.
Well, it's fully armoured.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Unless Saxon comes with a mace and mashes him in the head.
Interesting thing you mentioned, the Saxons had face visors which were a Roman cavalry mask. Came from the Roman cavalry, which was a face of usually polished brass or silver or metal, you know. And it was on hooks and it came down over the front of the face. And you saw through the eyes. The eyes had slits.
Oh yeah.
See through.
A lancer.
Yeah, and that's what the Saxons used. Now, that's fine. However, Saxon officers would certainly have them. The average Saxon soldier probably wouldn't. And Harold Godwinson would certainly have worn one. So again, arrow through the eye.
That's the one that most people believe in, though.
Yeah, I think that possibly arrow through the eye thing came from religion. You're spited by getting stabbed in the eye. God spites you.
But I think the cavalry one, most likely the one that happened. Although he was with the housecarls, and the housecarls didn't charge down the hill. So whether or not Harold Godwinson even died in the battlefield,
He probably didn't.
is debatable.
Because the housecarls left the field. Housecarls fight to the death if their king dies.
Meaning they would have won.
They marched off the battlefield. Therefore, Harold couldn't have died in the battle. He would have been wounded. Certainly, he could have been hit in the eye. It's not fatal. So he could have been hit in the eye. You're going to die of infection in 3 days.
Well, like you said, the helmet.
Yeah.
He couldn't put it down.
Saxon helmet.
Must not have it down.
He might not have done. He might have been issuing orders or something. I don't know. Which is why your salute, by the way, just the visor is you're holding your visor up to talk. Then you put your visor back down again. That's where the salute comes from the military.
There you go then.
Yeah. So that's quite likely. So then the army breaks and runs away, and
His army doesn't break and run away. Just
the army's
walk off
lost.
the battlefield.
The army's lost, and maybe he gets trampled by horses as the Norman cavalry get in amongst them.
Did the Norman cavalry even get towards the housecarls?
They would have done at the end, yeah. Well, they charged the housecarls repeatedly, and the housecarls just killed them. In combat, no, cavalry are rubbish. In all honesty, I think cavalry are some of the worst troops you've got on the battlefield until the invention of the fully armoured knight. Good things about cavalry is bows. If you can get fast-moving bowmen to get on the flanks of the enemy and fire at the flanks of their shield wall, that's useful. That's a good use for cavalry. Skirmishing on the edges, like sending horses round the rear to harry the enemy, throw javelins at them, that's useful. Having an armoured man on an unarmoured horse charging into a shield wall of armoured knights, you're not going to win.
Yeah, they just put shields up and a horse on top of them and stab the horse's feet.
Yeah, the Saxons used axes, huge two-handed axes, which would just kill a horse instantly. Even that, cataphracts. Saladin had cataphracts, the Mamelukes had cataphracts, and they were massacred because they were fighting knights. and the knights just dismounted from their horses and went in against the cataphracts with huge battle swords and axes and maces. And the horses didn't like it. Don't like it, horses. Doesn't matter if you're an armoured horse, you don't like people hitting you with sticks.
Especially when they have spears and they point at it.
Yeah. Well, horses won't charge spears.
That's how they did it.
Yeah. Which the Teutonic Knights found. They tried to charge the Russians, and the Russians brought really long spears, almost pikes. They were 12 feet long, and they had these ash spears in ranks, and all the horses just they weren't facing ahead of them; they were facing to the side. So the horses started to move inwards, and it turned the Teutonic cavalry into a sort of cone shape, and then they ended up sort of crushed. It's a long battle. I'm not ready to it now. But yeah, Norman Knights, I wouldn't say they were particularly decent. The figures are great. In actual combat, I wouldn't rely on my knights to win a battle. I'd rely on my heavy infantry.
I'd like to use the knights as a distraction.
Yeah, I think. It would keep the enemy infantry sort of pinned, which would be useful. So you could get other troops up. The Normans didn't have any artillery or anything, so they didn't have ballistae and things like that. So really it came down to actually fighting hand-to-hand combat mostly. Which the Normans were to disadvantage because the English were on top of a hill.
Mm-hmm.
But it did serve them well later on when they were riding town to town killing all the women and children.
Yeah.
Always useful to have a man in mail armour on a horse smashing women's heads in with a sword. That's nice. That's what the Normans generally did. Yeah, don't like Normans.
No one did.
No one did. Actually, yeah, true, no one did. The Franks hated the Normans, the Danes hated the Normans, the English hated the Normans, the Vikings hated the Normans, and quite a few Normans hated the Normans too. Because Normans kept fighting each other. So, yeah, and when William invaded England, he didn't have his own army, he had to buy one. Because he couldn't arm his own people because they'd overthrow him and kill him. I just love feudal societies, don't you? The way the king lives in, the kings and the lords live in perpetual terror of their own people.
Yeah.
And have to live in castles, because if you tried to live in a normal house, someone would murder you. So you have to live in this big castle, and you have to hire foreign knights to protect you. Although most of these, nationality-wise, most of the Norman cavalry would have been either actual Normans or sort of mercenaries who turned up to help in exchange for lands. So
Nasty, they all wanted money. All the mercenaries.
well, yeah,
He didn't have any money. He went, how about land?
yeah. For William, it was a matter of he had to win in England. He had to win the Battle of Hastings and defeat the English, because if he didn't, he was dead. Because he owed so much money, and he had to pay his army.
And he lost his country.
Oh yeah, and then he lost Normandy. The king's not here. Let's not let him come back.
Yeah. That's what King John did to Richard.
Like the Romans with Sulla. Sulla left the country to go and fight the Greeks, and as soon as Sulla left, they said, right, Sulla's not the leader anymore. The great thing is he'd left with his army, so he couldn't sort of impose himself back on Rome. Right, that is the end of the video, I think. We've got nothing else to discuss. Most of it was waffly.
No, it was all, actually we stayed on
Normans, yeah.
Normans for the first time.
Yeah. I have a question. Would you like to be a Norman knight or a foot soldier?
Foot soldier.
Shield wall, isn't it?
No.
No?
I'm not in the front rank. And I'm not the stupid idiot on a freaking horse charging at a shield wall.
Well, if you lived in Normandy and you rode around on a horse, you knew you were safe from people throwing things at you. because they might accidentally hit the horse, and that was illegal. So you're pretty safe riding in the front rank, because you've got a pointy long
Won
lance
England.
to stab with. Yeah, then they came to England. Yeah, and it's surprising they won, really. It's,
You cut my horse. That's a fight for women. Oh, you cut off my horse's head. Oh, now you're stabbing me. Oh, didn't notice that. Oh, huh. You English are not very nice people, are you?
yeah, they also they would be taken prisoner if you're captured. Then you just put your arm up in the Greek sense. You know, you put your hand in the air, and that meant you surrendered. And they would take you prisoner, and then they would ransom you, and they'd send a letter to you, or the priest would send a letter to your family or the king, and say these men have been taken prisoner, and the family would pay a ransom. If you put your hand up in a field in England, someone hit you with an axe. We didn't do that. The English didn't.
Why put your hand up?
Yes,
You idiot.
it's exactly what happened with the Romans fighting the Greeks. The Greeks put their, what did they do? They put their hands in the air. They put one hand up, and the Romans massacred them.
Well, yeah.
But they were surrendered. The Romans didn't know that that's how you surrendered.
It's weirdo. Now you surrender. You're supposed to put down your weapons and put both hands up.
Yeah, and phalanxes. Do you know the phalanx was a big long pike? Big long lance. Pike. It's pike. Massive 18-foot pike. Yeah. They surrender by shaking the pike. So they shake their pike, which makes a sort of rattly sound.
It just looks like you're
And that
preparing.
means they're not fighting.
It just looks like you're preparing to attack.
Yeah, and the Romans went, they're going to attack us! Massacre them! Kill them to the last man! Hack their legs off! And they were like, no, I'm shaking my pike! I'm shaking my pike! And the Romans, no, don't understand you! And then you got the skirmish infantry and the cavalry with their hands in the air, and the Romans are hacking them down. And it was like, sorry, cultural misunderstanding there. Accidentally massacred your army when it surrendered. So yeah, same with the Normans. The Normans have tried to surrender, and they were cut down. So the Normans knew they were, by Hastings, because there'd already been quite a lot of skirmishing. By the time Hastings was fought, the Normans knew that if they lost, there would be no mercy. They would all die. And if you got back to your last 30 boats, because William had burnt half of them, he kept enough for his own men. If you don't make it back to the boats, then you're dead. And even if you do make it back to the boats, by the time you get home, you're going to be bankrupt, and a load of Danes are going to walk up and take possession of your house because you owe them money.
Well, first asked you how the invasion of England went.
Yeah.
Did it work out? Well, if you're here and you've got blood over your arm, I'm guessing not.
So that's basically it. The Saxons didn't have cavalry
I don't know.
because horses were like cows. It never occurred. Do you never ride a cow to work, do you?
And they don't need. They don't have the brain for fast moving. I mean, if they did have horses, I think they would have won.
Oh, some did. The Northumbria had cavalry. Duke of Northumbria had
Because
cavalry.
then Harold Godwinson's army could have just rode to the destination, and then men won't be so tired.
Oh, most of them did. They didn't run the length of England, they rode.
No, my history teacher told me that.
Yeah, you do 80 miles... sorry, how many miles a day?
Well, I thought I don't know,
You can walk 40. Sorry, you can walk 20.
Walk 20 a day.
You can walk 20. The Romans moved at 20 because they never ran for anybody. An army, a fast-moving army would march 20 miles a day. They marched 50. How do you cover 50 miles a day?
Fast moving vehicles. No?
In armour. They were
Fast
housecarls.
Which is why the Vikings lost. They dropped their armour.
They dropped their armour so they could run, yeah. The English didn't. They moved in their armour. The only way you can do it is on horseback. Just a thing if anyone cares. The only logical explanation would be they were on horseback. Anyhow, local butchers. Oh yeah, to collect the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, good one. I like that.
Yeah.
That was good. That. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. I think we waffled far enough. Oh, incidentally, if you want to know what a Greek helmet looked like, that's it.
That's why I said that.
So I've only just noticed. Yeah, sorry. Nice figures. I would recommend them if you're doing it. We're not going to be doing a Norman army ourselves because it doesn't really fit what we're doing at the moment. But I'm certainly going to get to use some of the figures for my Russians. Over to you for the outro, unless you got any last questions?
No.
No, outro.
So if you enjoy this question,
if you enjoy this question,
if you enjoy this video, please do like and subscribe, and comment down below what you think of Norman Knights.
Yeah. I actually enjoy putting the figures together. They're not bad. Although they are all in the same pose, so
Best deal.
it's a bit naff. Yeah.
Same for me.
And everything from him. Goodbye.